For me, Vegas really put a rocket ship in my confidence. You know, we were a startup about a year ago. We're starting to scale. We do have customers. I think this summer is going to be great for us. But it really gave me the confidence of knowing that, wow, we really have something here. I mean, people were lined up to talk to us, to see what we had to offer. Everybody was curious to know exactly what we were about. And it was great. We had our team there, like Katie was there, I was there, Marco was there. We had our software architect there, which I think is huge. I don't know how many companies you can pull up to the booth and actually meet the guy that's designing and managing, all the code and that goes into this platform. And he's just one person, which is amazing. And I was just blown back by the interest in Rex Systems and power sports rental companies coming up to us and approaching us and seeing the value in our product and how we can actually deliver a tool to help streamline their business and drive revenue. And that's what we're about. And we've got some great people that we're communicating with right now out west that were real receptive to the AI and the history behind the platform. So I was super pumped for that.
I think that's a big thing. I think I saw everyone that came up to the booth. We had our little screen there doing demos and the back end and stuff like that. I think everyone's blown away how easy it was, the simplicity of the software on the back end. Not too many buttons, not a manifest that has, a bajillion dashboards that you don't even need. You can go in the back end, change your pricing, change your fleet. You can all do it yourself. I mean, the software is completely product led if you want it to be. So I thought that was something awesome that people really didn't realize that was out there. We're not trying to have you have to call the account manager and go email back and forth. I mean, Brad, you made this software so everyone could handle it themselves. So
Yeah.
people were pretty excited about that.
For sure. I thought it was pretty funny because the one guy we were talking to, I don't remember exactly who it was, but he was like, he found out that I was the lead developer, and he was like, "You can sell too." Like they're not used to just having like someone like me there. So it was really cool to hear on the front line of what people are going through and what they're struggling with, because it was really validating. Because for me, everything that we have done have been like one-on-one conversations with people, but in a matter of a couple days, we had so many different conversations, and it resonated with every single person in a way where like everyone has their own pain points and their own things that they may like or dislike about their current booking engine. And when we satisfied pretty much every single one of their pain points, it was super rewarding, and it motivated me a ton. Where it was just really remarkable how well the reception was. It was pretty awesome.
So people are asking me what makes Rex Systems better than my current booking platform, or why should I be using an online booking platform instead of my old Excel sheet or paper calendar or anything like that? Brad, what are your thoughts?
That is a great question, and it's really fascinating because for so long, people kind of get used to the old thing, and whether it's the spreadsheet or like one of the other booking engines on the market, it's pretty fascinating because the systems are so antiquated, but it's like a frog in hot water where you kind of just like it slowly boils and you don't really realize how outdated it is. And I think just in general, that was my main takeaway from going out to Las Vegas and having the booth out there was so many people were into AI. Like all of the dealers and all of our potential customers were all talking about AI. And we're literally the only AI booking platform in the industry. And it's incredible. And so it's pretty exciting. Just all of the stuff that our platform can do and what the feedback that we're getting from those folks, because it was clearly a need for something like this. And so we're definitely scratching that itch. At the same time, it's like super exciting because we're the only ones. We're the first in the industry. At some point, I assume, there's going to be others out there, but we have such a head start at this point. A couple years and probably a decade worth of AI code into our software. So we're light years ahead of everybody. So that was kind of fun. That was my main takeaway was everyone is talking about AI and they're actively looking for that solution, but there's no other solution than ours, which is pretty fun.
So I
What
got
do
another
you-
question for Brad.
Yeah.
Rob touched a little bit on the SEO stuff. Brad is our software engineer, best in the world. How does AI help with the SEO if someone were to set up their booking platform with us? We're kind of product led, but we're kind of hand holding right now. How does AI enable that SEO on the back end to help our customer just explode on web presence?
Oh man. Okay. So where do I begin? I've given 3-hour workshops on the same topic, but we built all of that stuff into the software. And so what's really cool is that the way that we've structured the AI is that we can do on the keyword research and all of the optimization. It's a lot of different stuff that happens behind the scenes. Let me back up and just explain SEO from a technical standpoint really quick. So there's two types of SEO. So there's the off page and on page. Off page is like the links that you get. So if you get a link from the chamber or you're in like some article or a blog post or whatever, those links really help. You absolutely need to get those links to have your SEO do well. But on the flip side of that, you don't really get to control those links. Like it's other people that are linking. And if you pay for links, you kind of get, it's not always the best outcome. So it's tricky to get those links. The thing that you can control is what's on the page. And so the on page, I've been doing that since pretty much my entire life. 25 or more years now I've been doing that, where back in the day SEO was super easy. You just type in some meta keywords and you just show up for whatever you wanted to show up for. But then as Google and all the competition happened, there needed to be all of these different keywords and it needs to sound good compared to just like putting a bunch of keywords on the page. And so that's where our AI really does well, because it's easy to just like load a bunch of keywords into any given page. But Google and the search engines don't like that. They want to just have really high quality content. And so they look for when it's like scattered throughout actually really readable text. And so all of our text is super readable. It's all done from like a marketing standpoint, but it's also done from an SEO standpoint. So, and a conversion optimization standpoint. So just all different angles. And what that ends up doing is it creates these really high functioning landing pages for any rental. And then there's all the sub pages and all that kind of stuff. But we don't need to get into that on this conversation. But for the most part, there's so many different tiny things that you would typically pay thousands of dollars for some SEO expert to go in and tweak. And then next month they would look at the analytics and they tweak it again. And you just like constantly be in this like rat race of trying to like optimize your thing, where our search strategy is all done automatically through AI. So it's pretty exciting.
Thank you. I'm just a guy out in the field. Rob, I got a question for you now. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just out in the field. Rob ran his business for 20 years. What would have changed your business if you were able to use Rex Systems with the SEO web presence, the 24/7 AI chatbot, and our dynamic pricing rules that we have on the back end, which we haven't touched on? How would that have benefited your company when you were running it?
Yeah, so I ran a successful company, Lakeside Marina. I had 36 boats in my fleet, delivered over 100 different lakes. What I would have done if I would have had the platform that we're presenting now with Rex Systems is I definitely probably would have doubled my rental fleet, and I would have absolutely raised my prices. The traffic that Rex Systems has the ability to drive and give you an advantage in the market would allow me to do that for sure. So that's two things right there. And then as far as the special pricing rules that we offer, where we can set them to promote, say, over 4th of July week, I would have definitely have used that to probably pull an extra $20,000 out of that week. So the list goes on and on.
Our dynamic pricing rules on the back end would have helped you pull in an extra few $1,000s, no doubt. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's cool. But the thing that I really got sick of with the booking platform that we were running, which is actually the mini version of what we're trying to develop here and take to the next level. But before I partnered with Quantum Pipes and Brad and Marco, and we made that happen, every time I wanted to add a unit or get a new unit or turn over a unit or somebody totaled a unit and I had to take it off my website or out of my booking platform, I had to call my web guy and then we had to redo it and then add the new unit. And then I went into like the Word doc and typed up the description and tried to make it keyword sensitive so Google would index that. And, that took hours. And so after you're working 8, 12-hour days, that's the last thing you want to do. With Rex Systems, if you want to add a unit to your fleet, say you're renting pontoons and you want to add fishing boats or whatever the case may be, you can throw a fishing boat in there and to add fleets, fill out 5 fields, 5 short fields. The AI grabs it from there, builds the description, which is like Brad said, keywords spread out throughout, a dedicated description for your unit. And you can have a brand new fleet uploaded to your booking engine in under 60 seconds. So that's amazing. So if you take 60 seconds versus what it used to take to do updates, or if you want to go with the big box companies, you can sit on hold.
Well, but that is a really big issue where the quality of the customer support is really tricky. Where when you get full control over the content, you don't need to worry about any of that stuff. And I guess I'll just add on to one thing, like with what you're saying, Rob, is like you had all these different locations. And so like some folks probably just have one location, they're at one dock or they're at one trailhead or something like that. But for you had 70 some lakes, right? That you delivered boats to. And so you add another lake. What are you doing for that lake? Are you then going and paying that person to create the SEO for that page? And so then you add another lake, and so it like starts. It's this like snowball where there's just like an absolute ton of effort to do that. Where like what we've structured is like as locations get added, every one of those locations gets search engine optimized. So like in my area, we're at like Minocqua. So I'd imagine that a ton of people type Lake Minocqua rentals or Lake Tomahawk rentals or Boulder Junction rentals or whatever it is. All of those then have these like tentacles out there that you start showing up for. And it's just like night and day better than just having like a couple words or like, just a super basic thing. So it's pretty incredible how powerful it gets when you start having those additional pages out there too. It's not just the rental page.
Yeah. And let me jump into that quick. Brad mentioned locations, and that wasn't really going through my head at the time, but it is now. I think when I got rid of Lakeside, we were doing over 100 different locations, different lakes, and over and beyond the search optimization or separate landing pages that are indexed by Google for each individual location with Rex Systems. I'm going to go back to the owner side of it, which would be changing the prices on those locations. So as my list of locations grew and fuel costs became more expensive and employment became more expensive, and I wanted to raise prices, on 100 different boat landings or lakes across northern Wisconsin and the southern UP, that took forever. So I would actually have to copy and paste that, put it into a Word doc, change the price on it, and then throw that into an email and send it to my web guy. And he would update that and then, send me a bill for hundreds of dollars. And if you do that for 20 years, working with your web guy and adding and deleting photos and redoing your website, say a new website costs 10 grand on the low end. And then all your updates that you do, if you have a larger fleet and a lot of turnover in your fleet, $25,000 to $3,000 a time. So, over a course of 20 years, you're probably spending $300,000 to $500,000 with this guy. That's significant. So in my mind, you can totally cut back on that because everything that Rec Systems offers is manageable by the user, which would be the owner. You want to change your fleet, raise your prices, takes 5 seconds. The list goes on. Everything's at the palm of your hand, and the tools are there for you to be able to grow your company any way you want to, really, and to make changes on the fly. Nothing takes more than 5 minutes, seriously. So that's
Yeah,
the
it's about the same time, if not less, than sending an email. Like just the same amount of time that you'd go and email the webmaster or whatever. You can just do it yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great point. And that's how it goes. And then, the thing that I always noticed was, so I would type up content and throw it into Word and try to edit it the best I could to make sure it was perfect. But sometimes I would miss some things. So I'd send it over to my web guy and he would copy and paste and throw it up, but he wouldn't proofread it too. He wouldn't give it a second pass or a third pass. So then all of a sudden I'm looking at my website and I'm like, oh, that's spelled wrong, so we don't want that. So then I have to go back to my web guy. And since, he didn't proofread it, but it's still my fault because I typed the original content. So now I'm going to pay this guy $500 to fix it.
Yeah.
And it just keeps going and going and going. So I like the efficiency with Rec Systems. I love what we've built. It will increase your revenue. It will increase your traffic. It will cut down on your phone traffic. And it will continue to get better. We keep adding new features on a regular basis. Brad's always in the studio working extremely hard to try to satisfy everyone's needs.
I don't need sleep. That's okay.
Yeah, that Marco and I get. And, we're a smaller company, so we can take the time to try to special tailor some of that stuff, which I believe sets us apart from some of these other companies, like these larger companies and, the ones that put you on hold for an hour and email you back in 72 hours or more.
Well, I think Rob hit it right on the head. So out of the SEO, the AI, SEO, the user friendliness of our software, us being a little bit smaller company, better customer service, might not, want to go with a smaller company right now, but we are a small company with huge capabilities. The software has been proven time and time over again. So give us a try. Go to our website, recsystems.com. Sign up for a demo. Rob and I will help you out.
Yeah, for sure. We would love to build you a demo.
Rob's really good at demos by now.
Yeah, demos are great. Honestly, I can build you your full online booking platform that we could just turn on with the flip of a switch, depending on the size of your fleet. But if you have 50 units, I could probably do it in an hour.
But for all those business owners that are how do you say that word? Technological advanced, something like that. If you had something like that, you could probably create your own demo on your phone right now.
Yeah, pretty much. And it's only going to get easier every single day. It's going to keep getting easier.